Hey book huggers, this is Jen, and I went a little crazy at the library this week. So today I have kind of a crazy mixed up, mashed up video. I have this library book haul because I did not pass a single book in the library this week without bringing it home. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I have some other things to talk to you about. So let's get started. I'm going to kind of cruise through all these books because I don't know what a lot of them are about. A lot of them I picked because the covers were really pretty, and now I'm bringing them to you. I'm going to start with the YA stack because I have them all broken down into like YA and adult fiction and graphic novels and middle grade because I wanted a little bit of everything this week, apparently. I'm going to start with The Bunker Diary by Kevin Brooks. I read about it in a library journal and I put it on hold. I think it's about a boy who wakes up and finds himself in this sort of hallway filled with cells, like prison cells, and he doesn't know how he got there. It's reminded me a little bit of The Maze Runner, but I haven't read it. Anyway, Bunker Diaries, yay. The second one was a review copy that I received, and I think it's gorgeous. Look how gorgeous it is. I love the different colored letters, I love the typography, and I love the little people on a wire. I know nothing about it except that David Allman wrote it, and I will read pretty much anything he writes. If you haven't, you should. Okay. And the next one, I was super excited about. This showed up in a box yesterday at work, and it's called Tonight the Streets Are Ours. It's by Layla Sales, and she wrote one of my favorite YA books, which is called This Song Will Save Your Life. And she writes realistic contemporary books with music thrown in, and I'm pretty sure this one has music in it too. I was not aware she had a new book coming out, so it was super, super fun to get it yesterday, and I'm excited to read it. On to the adult fiction stack. We start with A Darker Shade of Magic because everyone is talking about this. Everyone on BookTube and like half the people I know in real life, and I can't not read it anymore. Yeah. So there you go. The second adult book is Jesse Eisenberg's Bream Gives Me Hiccups. I think that's how you pronounce that. Bream, right? I don't know what that is yet. Bream Gives Me Hiccups and Other Stories. I, like everyone else, have seen Jesse Eisenberg on the movie screen, but I haven't read any of his stuff. Apparently he's had a lot of stuff in the New Yorker, and I haven't read any of them. I read about this book in Entertainment Weekly, I think. Publishers Weekly. Some sort of weekly, that was my dog, some sort of weekly publication. Anyway, it looked good. I grabbed it. And this one I've actually been super excited to read for a while. It's called Jane. It's by Patricia Park, and it's a retelling of Jane Eyre with a Korean American girl who serves as a nanny for sort of a hipstery couple, I think, in Brooklyn. And then something happens. I think we can all figure that out. And she goes to Korea to sort of find herself there. And so I'm excited to read it. I've heard really good things about it. And I was actually walking into my library, walking very quickly because I was late for work. And I was walking, and I saw it on our new bookshelves, and I just, without even breaking my stride, swerved over, grabbed it off the shelf, and brought it home. So later that day, obviously. Yay! And for the graphic novels, I'm going to start with Rutabaga the Adventure Chef. How could you not grab a book off the shelf that's called Rutabaga the Adventure Chef? If you can walk past a book like that, I don't know what to tell you. It looks so cute. He's an adventure chef. I guess it's right there in the title. The second graphic novel is The Autumn Lands, Volume 1, Tooth and Claw. I literally don't remember why I put this on hold. I think I read about it again in a library journal somewhere, and I don't remember anything about it. Here it is, and I'm gonna read it. Next. Oh, this is so heavy. Volumes 2 through 6 of the Amulet series. To walk past a shelf in our library and have all the issues except for the first one that I've already read 100 years ago or whenever it came out, have them all sit on a shelf like that, I could not pass that up. So I pulled all of them and I brought them home. Not sorry. Actually very excited. And finally, for the middle grade stack, I brought home Nooks and Crannies It's a pretty new book by Jessica Lawson, and it reminds me of the Mysterious Benedict Society. It's about a girl who gets a letter and it tells her to show up for something, and there's a test she needs to pass. But I think it's more of a mystery. I think the girl who's the main character is more of a Sherlock Holmes-y, detective-y kind of thing than what goes on in the Mysterious Benedict Society. So I thought it looked really good and I brought it home. The next one is the ACB with Honora Lee by Kate DeGoldie. Drawings by Gregory O'Brien, and look how pretty it is. It's got bees on the binding, and I think it has really interesting vintagey looking illustrations throughout. I know nothing about it, but I thought it was pretty, and sometimes I just pick up pretty books. Now, this final book I actually have a story about, Freddy the Detective. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already read a little bit of this story. This is actually one of my favorite books, but it's a favorite book not because of what's in it, because I literally don't remember anything about Freddy the Detective and his adventures, but it's one of my favorite books because when I was in first grade, I had this teacher who, because my mother was also a first grade teacher, and my mother was kind of the hip, new, energetic teacher with all the really fun ideas, my first grade teacher didn't like my mother. And so she liked to take it out on me by doing things like spanking me in front of the entire class for like nothing, for no reason. And back then, spanking wasn't frowned upon. It was like a thing that happened. And she liked to just chip away at my confidence in any way possible, all day, every day. It's just what she did. And one day our class went to the library, and I liked to get chapter books because at that time, reading was like the thing that I did the best. And I love to read chapter books, and I found Freddy the Detective and I thought it looked really fun. And my teacher actually spanked me in front of the entire class because she said I was wasting everybody's time by messing around with books that were too hard for me to read. And so after school that day, I went to my mom's room and I told her, and she was furious, like livid. And she marched me straight to the library and she told me I could get my Freddy book and I could get whatever other book I wanted to read. And then she had me sit down in her room and read them while she went to talk to my teacher. And I wasn't there for that conversation, but I was never publicly spanked in that class ever again. And I was allowed to pick whatever book I wanted to read whenever our class went to the library. And so even though I don't know what happens in this book, I checked it out and brought it home because I wanted to reread it and see what happens. Even though I don't know what happens in it, it's always been my favorite book. Every time I pass it, I get this lovely warm feeling inside because my mother, my normally calm, sort of even-keeled mom, turned into a dragon that day and like defended me and my intelligence, and so one of my faves. So I brought that home. So that is a whopping 16 books in 1 week from the library. So there you go. And this does not even count the books that I have ordered in the past 2 weeks, which will be a completely different haul if and when they ever get here. Okay, so that's one part of the video I wanted to do. The other part is I missed Top 5 Wednesday this week because I have had a cold for about a week and, sorry, see? I have had a cold for about a week and I couldn't really talk that day. But I was super sad because the theme this week was what you love about booktubing. And I've only been doing it for a month, but I have a few things I want to say that I've loved about booktubing so far. I'm not going to do 5, but one of the things that I've loved about booktubing is that I've made these videos in the past, I'll link to them, where I make these blanket statements like, oh, I don't get to read series because I'm a librarian and I have to read as widely as possible, and so even if I love the book, I may not get to finish the series. You know, statements that I feel like I had just at some point decided that's what I do. That's sort of my reading life now. And, you know, somebody said, oh, that's terrible. Like, I would hate that if I couldn't read the rest of a series that I really liked. And I started thinking about it and I'm like, I want to finish some series. There were some things that I really liked and I want to go back and finish series, and there's nothing keeping me from doing it. So what I love, one of the things I love about BookTube is that it's made me start to think about these sort of blanket statements. Everybody sort of gets in the habit of like, oh, I do this because, or I'm a person who does this. And I think making these videos and meeting people on BookTube and watching everybody else's videos, it's just gotten me thinking about, like, I want to read more adult fiction and I want to read more middle grade. You know, I read a lot of YA because I love it and because it's part of my job, but like, I've missed reading all of these other things. So that's one thing I love about BookTube, for reopening my world to some books that I love. And another thing, it really sounds like I'm going to start to cry, but it's only my voice going in and out, I swear. Another thing is that watching a lot of these booktubers and videos, I have forgotten how fun it is to just really sort of analyze books and like want to learn more about literature. I didn't get a literature degree and I sometimes really regret it. I was a history and journalism major, but watching some of these BookTube videos from people who are currently getting their literature degrees or have already received them, it just makes me want to learn again. It makes me want to really deep dive into literature and like learn things and think deeply. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it makes me very happy and I want to thank BookTube for that. And my number one thing, obviously, that I love about BookTube is you guys. Like, I never thought I would have 43 subscribers in a month. That's insane. I'm so excited that you guys are watching my videos. I am so excited to watch yours. And it's just been a really, really welcoming and amazing community. And I want to thank you guys for that. And finally, I want to talk about a favorite TV show that I have right now, because nobody else will talk to me about it, because nobody else is watching it, and maybe you're not watching it either, and it has nothing to do with books, so you might want to turn it off right now. But this show is called Playing House, and it's on the USA Network, and it's about two women who have been best friends their entire lives. And in the beginning of season one of the friends is about to have a baby, and the other friend works this sort of highfalutin job in Hong Kong, and she comes home for the baby shower. And this really sort of horrible, but funny for the audience, thing happens at the baby shower, and the pregnant friend ends up divorcing her husband. And so the Hong Kong friend decides to stay in her hometown and live with her best friend and help her with the baby that's coming. And it's so hilarious. The actresses, whose names I can't remember right now, I'm really sorry, I'll link to them below. They are so funny. I don't know if this show is just like my perfect humor or what, but it just makes me so happy, and I think everybody should watch it, and so I'm telling you about it right now. Anyway, that's my story. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books, and please let me know if you've watched Playing House, because I have got to talk about it with someone. Please. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye. I really should have a better way of saying goodbye. I can't say lots of bookish love because that's Jen's thing, that's Jen Campbell's thing. I could say bookish hugs. That might be weird too. Anyway, there you go.